What's going on, guys? Welcome to Alien Explained Part 7, where I go over the timeline and lore of the Alien franchise. Now, last time we spoke, we talked about short films that was set after the events of the first original movie. Now, the next installment within the franchise is actually a comic book. Now, if the name sounds familiar to you, that's because it should, because there's a video game with the same name. And this comic book is actually a one-shot comic book that is a prequel to the video game. Let's get right into it. So this takes place in the year 2137, and we're on a really big ship called the Vestapool. You know how an alien covenant, their mission was to colonize a planet? Well, this time they wanted to start a new colony, but this time on a spaceship rather than a planet. So the introduction of the comic book starts off with an android called Chuck. The computer goes beep beep, yo Chuck, let me talk to you real quick. Chuck is like, yo, what's good? The computer is just like, yo, we found a trespasser, you need to go find him. Now we cut over to the main crew in distress, and that's because Vestapol, the ship, has been invaded by a xenomorph. And the xenomorph has been unaliving everybody one by one. So the crew that you see here is basically all that's left on the ship. So my man over here, Turner, he's like, yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not fighting that thing, I'm out of here. And this dude right here, Captain Waits, he's just like, yo, Turner, if you leave, you're a bitch, because how you gonna leave the homies behind? And this little guy right here, Garcia, he's just like, yo, let me open this door for you real quick. I think there's somebody in here. He manages to get the door open, and the xenomorph want to pop out and show niggas. So basically, he unalives Garcia and Turner. And Captain Waits, being the last one alive in that certain situation, he was like, damn, maybe Turner was right. We should have been left them niggas behind. So then we cut to this random dude right here. He's frantic. He's distressed. He's just searching around the ship, trying to find the means to escape. But then he hears something, and then he lets off a couple of shots of his pew-pew. But then come to find out that noise was actually made by one of his crewmates. And yes, he accidentally killed one of his crewmates. Well, in this moment, he didn't technically kill him because he survived the gunshot, but then the xenomorph showed up again, and then he left him behind for the xenomorph to eat him. Now we cut back to Chuck talking to the computer, and the computer was just like, hey, yo, we got a signal from the medical bay of the ship. And we see the stranger wake up in the medical bay, but it's infected by all this weird alien shit. He wakes up, he has no idea what's going on. He steps on an egg, and then the alien comes up and then snatches him. Come to find out, it was all a dream because he's still in his deathbed with a face hugger around his neck. You know that guy in that random hallway that killed one of his crewmates? Well, come to find out, he was the intruder that the computer was talking about in the beginning of this video. Now, Chuck, the android, was just like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Allow me to help you. Now, Chuck's definition of help needs some help. So Chuck basically chokes him and unalives him right then and there. So Chuck hears one of the elevator door opens up, and then lo and behold, it's Captain Waits. And Captain Waits got that dog in him, so you know it's on sight, and he blows his head off. And that's basically the end of the comic book. Like I said before in the beginning of this video, it's a one-shot comic book. And for all the people who aren't nerds and don't know what one-shot comic books are just a one singular issue comic book. Hence the name one-shot comic. And there you have it. That is the Alien Isolation comic book, which is going to be the prequel to the video game Alien Isolation.